Cool. What's up, guys? Happy whatever. What's today? It's Wednesday. Wednesday, the 30th of April, and it's the last day of the month, guys. Last day of the month. But what's really cool is that doesn't mean anything with our compensation plan. A lot of other compensation plans out there, it does mean something, and you see a lot of people scrambling, trying to make sales, trying to make volume, trying to sell supplements on the last day of the month. But it does not factor in to what we do, which is really, really cool because our compensation plan is just straight up awesome. And to be honest with you guys, that's one of the main things that we're going to be talking about today. I was thinking about this as I made a video yesterday for YouTube, and just kind of rule of thumb here, guys. We talked about what a great blueprint to have in your business is 3+ short form videos per day per social platform. One, at least one. I do one a day. Some people do one a week. Some people do a couple of weeks. Some people do 3 to 5 a week. Full length YouTube videos, getting out there. And as I was making my YouTube video yesterday, and I'm about to make my video today when this is done, I was thinking about our compensation plan and thinking about really a phrase that I want you guys to know and understand. And that is we have a 100% transactional compensation plan. So I want to explain that here in a minute. So do me a favor right now. I want to make sure you guys are smelling what I'm stepping in. Comment down below. Comment 100% transactional, and we'll dive in and we'll explain what that means. And we've been part of other compensation plans, with the funnel team. I mean, there's a lot of hype compensation plans out there on the market today. We talked about that last week. We talked about that, and really the last few days because of all the hype that's out there on social media. And the hype is just, it's like annoyingly insane. And when you do the math, it's what's really, really cool. Some of you guys have reached out to me on the side because you guys are getting hit up by all of this hype and excitement that's out there on social media. And then once you understand the math, you're like, man, that really is a bad compensation plan. But when I was thinking of ours, I was thinking that like, and this right here for me, this I think could be, I don't know if I'd call it a catchphrase, a piece of verbiage, something we can use in our marketing, but 100% transactional is something that we need to be
Okay, yes.
collaboratively
Okay, yes.
shouting from the
Whatever
rooftop. Mark, just
that is.
mute your mic there, buddy. Um, we need to be shouting this from the rooftop and letting people know that we do have a 100% transactional compensation plan. But what does that really mean? So let's take some time and explain that here. So other compensation plans that we've been part of, we've had unilevels, we've had binaries, we've had matrix. So as an example, when someone joins your matrix, if it's a spillover and someone joins your matrix, you don't get paid on that person until the following month. So you don't get paid the day that they join. So you miss that compensation, you miss that commission, right? And then the next month, you'll get a little piece when they renew. But if they fall outside of the matrix, if your matrix is like a 3 by 12, and let's say they land on your 13th level, you don't get anything. So you have someone below you, and you wouldn't get paid on them at all. If you were in a binary, and let's say you're on one side over here, and then someone joins on the other side, someone down underneath you, but they join over on the other side, and the other side is your stronger side, and you only get paid on the weak side, you don't get anything from them when they renew. Okay. You're not getting any piece of that pie. So again, someone could be down underneath you and they could be renewing every single month and you're not getting paid on them. So there's little nuances and gotchas out there with all these different compensation plans. And then there's, unilevels where we've been part of a unilevel where it only pays 10 people deep. So once you get past that, once you get to that 11th, 12th, 13th, person, and Bill, you did that compensation plan for, 4 years. I mean, how many people did you have that were so far beyond, your caps and you weren't getting paid on? Um, so
Right.
there's always opportunity for holes in compensation plans where you don't earn. But the difference between all of those other things and what we do, and I think this can be the difference maker that we help people understand. And this is why we're explaining this to, to you guys here today, is we want you guys to understand that you literally get paid on everything. Every time someone joins under you, whether you brought them in or not, you get paid. The day they join, you get paid. Every single month when they renew, you get paid. And that goes down to infinity. Like, so there's no like where a matrix would cap out at 12 levels or 15 levels or 16 levels or whatever it is. There's no cap on the unilevel, down to infinity. Anytime someone joins or renews, one of those two things, and that's really the only way to, generate commissions in our business, someone joins or someone renews. Simple, straightforward, easy to understand. You get paid. You literally get paid on everything. So, Bill, I know you obviously have a lot to say when it comes to this compensation plan compared to others. But, we've also been, and maybe kind of share some of your experience over the years. You've been part of other compensation plans where you got gypped a lot of money because of the gotchas, because of the loopholes in the commission plan.
Yeah, it's all data. I mean, the one you said at 4 years, I had 4,200 active people in my unilevel. So when you have a unilevel and you have a matrix, you understand your unilevel is really your blood. I mean, it's like your cousins, your blood related, because everything in the unilevel is tied to you. You're going to get some kind of track. Oh, up to 10 levels in that one. So I take that back. So ours is unlimited. But with that said, a unilevel is where you really rate your success. And I had 4,200 active paying memberships. But every month, just like some of the other ones out there, they only paid on the matrix. So in my matrix with, people quitting and then falling out below the 12th level, I had less than 2,000. So I got paid less than half. Excuse me one second. I got paid less than half of what I should have got paid. And the funny thing is, Dan will tell you, I'm kind of like a rationalist. He knows me. I always rationalize, and I didn't let that stop me because you got to learn that not everything's perfect, and it's not. Nothing's perfect, and I'd push through because I was making so much money. I really was. I was doing so well, but I was leaving so much on the table.
Mm-hmm.
So the company was winning. I was sort of winning, but the company
But
was
you
really
weren't winning as good as you could have been winning.
absolutely, yeah, yeah. I was the same reason why I stuck around, and then so that's that. But Dan, you brought up another thing about that other comp plan, and we're not here to talk about that other company primarily. We're here to talk about compensation plans and how to educate everyone, how to share share it with people
Mm-hmm.
that a lot of people are working with a lot of gotchas. But Dan, you just brought something out again that I didn't even think about because there's so many words in that other compensation plan and tricks. Like you get paid here, but it's only on your unilevel in the matrix. I mean, just hear
Mm-hmm.
that. You get paid on your unilevel in the matrix. I mean, even an expert has a problem understanding that. But Dan, you just said something we haven't said it out loud. They don't make overrides. They
Yeah.
don't make overrides. I never even thought about that. That's my
Yeah.
next video later.
Yeah. When
They
someone
don't
in
make
your,
overrides.
yeah, you sponsor someone who sponsors someone, when they get a sale, you don't get an override. It's just on your first generation, the people that you directly sponsor.
That's like work. That's insane. That's insane. Listen, make this very clear before we go to the next. We are not in this to have a job. This is not a job. If we wanted to have to work all the time. Now, in the beginning, we have to, but someday through consistency, you'll get to a point where if you want to take a day off, you're still making money because you have a team working. Okay. So when you see that, there's no overrides in a compensation plan, no one in the network marketing or affiliate industry should want to go into that kind of compensation plan. Dan, I can't even believe it. I'm in shock right now. The no, like, the big names I'm talking about. I don't even think they know. Some of the most clever, smart gurus are not very sharp with math. They just don't get it because they follow hype. But anyway, back to the compensation. Yeah, we're fully transactional. I have my smell test. I've broken it a couple times and I've paid the price. I was
Mm-hmm.
telling Dan it's made us smarter. If I could just be direct, I don't do I don't do binaries. I don't do cyclers. All these things create what's called breakage. And breakage is just money that they don't pay out that the company keeps. And so you never want to be part of something if possible where they say, you got to do, I'm going to pick on cyclers right now. You have to do six sales, either you or you with five other people to a total new six sales to generate a commission. Because what happens if you only reach four? What happens if you only reach five? There's no payout. So, there's just a lot of little gotchas. And I'll circle back to transactional. Dan says I've been saying transactional for years. Um, Literally, uh, transactional compensation plan means that you really own a business. Listen, sometimes I may make less on one of the leaders' organizations. I may make a little less on Dan's organization, but I'll take 50 cents on Dan's organization any day compared to being in one of these gotchas where I have cutoff
Hmm.
because I'm creating new companies, and that's what you guys are doing too. You're creating new companies that you're supporting, new pay lines, and that's why I love what we have, Dan.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's why we talk about this stuff, guys. I know at times it might seem a little repetitive. It might seem like we're um I'll just say it. It might seem like we're shitting on other companies or whatever it is, but you got to realize the experience that's in the room here. We've seen a lot. We've been through a lot, and the unfortunate part of that is we've also experienced the negative side of bad compensation plans and not having not picking the right partners and having to deal with that, and also being part of compensation plans that maybe at the time we thought were really good, and then we got kind of further into them and we realized that we were just like Bill. I mean, think about it for you guys. Like if you had um four plus thousand people on your team and you were only getting paid on half of those people every single month, you'd probably feel a little gypped. You'd probably feel a little frustrated. You'd feel like annoyed, and one of the reasons for that was, one of the previous compensation plans that we used was a matrix. And there were a lot of people down outside the matrix, but inside of the matrix, okay, picture, a lot of people in the matrix there. And then there's a lot of people that canceled or quit. So you have a lot of holes. You have a lot of open holes in there. Now, in a good world, and there are matrices out there with the compensation plans where they have what's called compression. Okay. So whether or not you understand what that is, I'll explain it. Just comment compression. I want to make sure I want to walk you through what compression is. So compression is anytime there's a hole and the hole stays there for X amount of time and the company sets those parameters, whether it be, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever it is. And they pull the hole out, and then the next people that are in line, whatever that line of descent is, that hole gets pulled out and everyone kind of slides up. So in a perfect world, when you have a matrix with compression, over time, all the dead spaces get pulled out and everyone that's below kind of like everyone fills up. So you always have a true and accurate matrix with no holes. Well, that's where, myself, Bill, Kirsty, Catherine, so many other leaders that were on our team that had big teams, we had people that fell outside of the matrix and they did not get compressed up. So we were losing money, and it's a frustrating experience when you're building such a large team and you can look in your members here and you could see the size of your team. You could see how big it is and know that every single month you're only getting paid on some of those. Now, for your education here, the reason why companies do this, the reason why companies don't do compression is it creates something called breakage. So comment breakage. Let's make sure that you understand this. Okay, comment breakage. And what breakage does is when you look at the compensation plan, when you're reading kind of like, hey, this is how you get paid, and they're like, oh, if you fill in the matrix, or if you fill in your unilevel, or if you fill in whatever part of the compensation plan they're talking about, you're going to get X amount of dollars. But chances are, and the company knows this when they create the compensation plan, the company knows that most likely, mathematically, people aren't going to fill everything in perfectly. There's no such thing as a perfect matrix. No one anywhere in the history of ever, has ever had a perfect matrix. There's always been breakage, and that's how the company makes money. They don't have to pay you the full commission because there's holes. People cancel, people quit, people whatever. So you never qualify for that full commission that was initially offered. So I hope that makes sense. So the difference between that and our compensation plan is there can be breakage. Let's say I sponsor Bill. Bill sponsors, I'm just going to go across the line. Bill sponsors Miles, who sponsors Sim, who sponsors Tony, who sponsors Mark. And then let's say, Tony quits and there's a hole, right? Who cares? It doesn't matter because our compensation plan, number one, pays down to infinity. So there's no cutoff. There's no, oh, it ends here. It ends at the 12th level or 15th level or whatever it is. It never ends. It literally never ends. And two, like you get paid on everything that happens. The day someone joins, you earn a commission. When they renew, you earn a commission. And it does not matter where in the line of descent they are because it goes to infinity. So does that make sense, guys? So breakage does not matter in our compensation plan. Okay, it doesn't factor in where if you were in a not a if you were in a matrix, it would, or if the unilevel had a cap on it, it only goes out X amount of spaces, you know, breakage would matter, but it doesn't matter here because it goes to infinity. So if that makes sense, comment makes sense. And again, I know it's a lot of like visualizing here and a lot of math and stuff like that, but again, we're giving you guys this education so you know how powerful our compensation plan is. And yeah, that's one man's opinion, but it's also the data. It's also black and white math. I'm proud of this compensation plan. I shout this compensation plan from the rooftops because it is my opinion that it's great, but it's also the math and the data that back up the fact that it is a very, very solid compensation plan. Bill, anything else on that?
Just, without diving into it, because it could get confusing. Because I'll do programs, and as long as I know it's transactional, I don't dive into the numbers as hard as Dan does. But understand one thing, there's also another little difference in unilevels. The reason why our unilevels like that, even when you see different levels with different pay, is because it's generational. I want you to understand that real quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. What that means is every time you or someone or that you brought in or someone that they brought in or someone that they brought in, even if it goes past different levels, they're coded to you. So there's really unlimited levels because they're coded to you. Because in my econ, they pay a certain amount of people every single time there's a new transaction. And it is almost, I hate saying the word, impossible to break that formula. It's just impossible to break that formula because the way the ranks work and everything. So that's how I can have a platinum all the way down, 100 people from me when they pay their renewal, I'm getting paid. Does
Mm-hmm.
that make sense, Dan?
Yep.
Without diving too into that, but it is generational, which is better. It's even better than a regular unit level, you
Yep.
know? So
So I think that's, as we look out there and we're trying to, in our marketing, in our videos, in our YouTube videos, our content, posted whatever it is on Facebook. And I just did, I kind of cloned. Bill did a great post yesterday on Facebook, so I kind of took his post and I kind of tweaked it and made my own version of it. And like already, I got a lot of activity on it. And one of the key phrases that I was talking about in there was, it's 100% transactional. And I think that's a phrase that a lot of people don't hear in the world of marketing, especially when it comes to marketing compensation plans, because a lot of people, everyone likes to hear the big catchy stuff. Like a big catchy thing right now is, oh, check match, you get check match. Like that's a big catchy phrase. Power line, get in the power line. You're guaranteed to make money without recruiting anyone. Like all of that stuff sounds great. All sounds really good, you know? And again, this is just education. You hear those phrases and it just sounds good. But to the untrained ear, to the untrained eye, it's a lot of fool's gold. And I've done the math with you guys on some of these compensation plans to make a 5-figure check match as an example in some of these other opportunities that are being marketed right now, you need to go out and personally find 10 people, 10 who each make 200 sales, and they do it in a 30-day window in order for that next month for you to make an $11,000 check match or a 5-figure check match. 10 people who each get 200 sales. Now, realistically, what are the chances? What are the odds of that happening? We can
Not.
all say probably not much, right?
Hmm.
And that's just on the initial. That's just on the initial check match because the following 30 days, 60 days out, when those 200 people across 10 people, so what, 2,000 people, when they all renew, you only get 2.5% renewals or 50 cents. So your check match that was $11,000 now chop 97.5% off of that. That's what you get the next month. So your check match goes from $11,000 down to pennies. And that's what has a lot of people fooled with some of these big, keywords, key phrases. So again, it's just, the reason why we tell you this stuff, guys, it's not to shit on these other companies. It's just to give you guys the data, to give you guys the education around what's out there, what we have, the strength of it, the data, the math behind it, and that you get a chance to literally make money on everything, literally every single transaction. And I think that I could see this being kind of like the next wave, or you guys have heard me talk about this before about a month ago, right after global launched. I talked about our business kind of being in two phases right now. Phase one was getting global launched, and we did that, right? So that was kind of phase one. Phase two is massive momentum. Now that we're global, all it's going to take, and Bill can talk more on this. Like we've seen this happen so many times over the years, where a company, they just catch a wave on social media. And there's one company right now that's trying to make a wave.
Hmm.
They catch a wave on social media and just everyone goes crazy for it. And I think that is our wave too. That is our next wave, which is known as massive momentum. So if you guys feel me on that one, do me a favor, comment massive momentum down below. And that is our next goal. That's what we're after. That's what we're, kind of pushing and chasing in a way, is finding some other leaders to lock arms with us and create that next wave of massive momentum. Because I think once people really realize and see, and this is the true education behind what we're talking about here. And I made a video on this, and I told you guys about this last week. And the video, did actually really well. And it's still doing well. I called it the My Econ problem. And I shared this with you guys last week. I think it was on Thursday or Friday. I called it the My Econ problem. And the only problem that My Econ has right now is enough people don't know about it. Like that's it. That's their problem. Because once people do know about it, once people do understand how powerful the compensation plan is, not based on Daniel's opinion, not based on Bill's opinion, based on the math, based on the data. Once people realize how good of a compensation plan it is, there's that next wave of momentum. There's that next massive momentum, that big, huge surge of growth that we're going after. And I think by using a lot of these key phrases like 100% transactional, it's I mean, Bill, if you went back and you looked at, the last couple of years and companies that have been popular for 1 minute and they're here today, gone tomorrow, it's a pump and dump, those standard things. You know, what are some of the key phrases that people are using? And no one's using 100% transactional because it really doesn't exist.
They're all using get in first. That's their
Yeah.
number one thing, get in first.
Yeah. Hype.
And and,
Just
and
hype.
on
Yeah.
and on that with the we're not here with the 25 people and the replays to save everyone. We're here to try to, we want you to educate in your marketing. It's really, we're doing marketing training right now. Want to educate the world how good our compensation plan is. And we have to do comparisons. It's just a fact.
Mhm.
And how you know a soul of a company, and I want you to know this, okay? This is very important. How you know a soul of, see, I know these characters. the person who created, I know the person who created the software. There's no soul there. Okay. There's no soul there. And what I mean by that is like little things that are just sneaky and then they twist. I don't know if you know this, but they've changed this. They still keep on saying, Dan, that they're in pre-launch. So they were supposed to have a cutoff, okay, last Friday. And last Friday would be the cutoff for their first week. And then they put everyone in the matrix and then they'd be pay. Well, instead of saying that the guy just didn't do it for whatever reason, and I think I know my reasons, it's more manipulation of the matrix. That's a whole nother story. Um, they changed the date, so now everyone, the gurus are saying it's a little catchy phrase. It's like I was wrong. The cutoff wasn't last Friday, so all you people that got in, you still have more time if you didn't get in because the
Hmm.
cutoff's going to be this Friday. I mean, that stuff is lame, lame. I don't even know it, but guess what? It works. It's sad. It's sad to watch. So really, what we're doing here, we're just educating the soul, our company again, and share it. Because someday someone's going to ask you one day. They're not going to ask you about the money. They're not going to ask you about the comp plan. They're going to say, "What's your corporate leadership like?" And you say, "Oh, you got to hop on with Bill." I'm goofing around, but Bill's been with the company 2018. He wasn't, he never canceled, and he didn't go inactive for a few years. Um, and he came back and 100% just put everything into it because of other companies' souls. And that's really important because, you know, we got an airtight compensation plan, but the leadership, I mean, the funny business that's going down out there, it's just pathetic. I mean, with the Matrix. I mean, these guys, I got to pick on them again. And again, use it for education out there. When someone listen, I brought someone in, just so you guys know, full disclosure, someone messaged me and he's a decent name. He's a lieutenant. And when I say lieutenant, I mean he has reach. And he messaged me about, Bill, I know you've seen this, da 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 da, but Save Club. And I said I go, are you nuts? This is on Facebook. Are you crazy? I go, 50 cents. I just went off. Make a long story short, I don't usually do the reverse recruit, but he goes, show me what you got then. Show me what you can do. And I just started sending him slides and sending him my videos. And basically he's in, and he already brought someone in, another captain. Now, mind you, this is another little lesson. Sometimes you get captains, they don't turn the light switch on. I got a lot of big names in our organization, but um, all because they come in, there's just one more step. But I got the first part done. And all I did was educate. And if you can copy a little bit of Dan's video or even my video where it's not even me talking, it's Ivy Stokes breaking down the compensation plan. I got it down to 7 minutes. It just shows the money. It just shows the money. Why these guys with this reach,
With the
they'd be
added
ma
bonuses.
yeah, they'd be making $1 million, you know, like in their first 6 months.
Hmm.
So some of these guys got huge reach, guys. Listen, we do not, as Dan says, crap on anyone. We respect everyone. We're just disappointed in their knowledge. We're disappointed in the money grab, and they really don't care about people. A lot, some do, but a lot don't. I mean, I could write a book on MLM. The master distributor is a personal friend of mine, and I got to say it. He came. I know it's going to be public, but he came down. He was commenting on Dan's videos to me, and Dan knows I'm a pit bull. I
Yep.
I said, what are you talking about?
I made a couple of videos that are getting some hate,
Yeah,
so
and I said,
because I told the truth.
I said, Dan's just educating. And this is what I said to him. Dan, I don't know if I told you. I said, I'd rather have one Dan than anyone from that company. That's what I told him. And then I'm gonna get Dan, I gotta tell you, this is funny. He said, well, I said, and Dan, don't mind me telling everyone this. I said, Dan recruits more people in a week than any one of those people on your leaderboard. we're not talking about this week because, they have the hype train. But once everything evens out, I'll put our team members against any team members because we have it here and in our heart. We're here to make money, but we're here for a lot of other reasons. We're a community. But yeah, I mean, I went to bat, and where I was going with this, all I did was educate, and I brought the fella in. And it's not like, oh, you show me yours and I'll show you mine, that kind of thing. It's just keep it real, be professional. You don't gotta be nasty, but tell the truth. I mean, everyone, I'm
Hmm.
getting hit all day, and I'm just replying back. Right now, I just reply back with my compensation video. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
now that we just learned somehow right in front of my face, I didn't even realize that they didn't have overrides. So we're educating, and the educating is marketing. It's just really good marketing. You don't even got to mention another company's name. Just say you got the best, and then we'll compare.
Mhm.
That's how I would look at it. I forgot what you asked me, Dan, but anyway, that's that.
Yeah, and speaking of marketing too, guys, like here's what I've learned over the years. Again, just experience, knowledge from doing this for a long time. Anytime I make videos, especially when it comes to, the theme of what we're talking about today, compensation plans, my videos are always about data. It's always about math, and they're always accurate. They're always truthful. So when you guys are out there with whatever content that you're making, whether it's just about, the business, the funnel team, whatever it is, here's what you guys need to remember is that when you go out there and you tell the truth, and I learned this line many, many years ago, and I absolutely freaking love it. And it says, the beautiful thing about telling the truth is you never have to remember what you said. And I love that because when I press record and I make my videos, all the numbers that I ever give in my videos are accurate numbers from our business or from a compensation plan, from ours, from another company's compensation plan. It's all 100% math and data. It's all accurate, truthful information. And, so in the last couple of weeks, I've made videos on other companies' compensation plans and said, hey, let me give you the math. Let me give you the data of what it would take, if you're using this compensation plan. And I did. And some of the comments that I'm getting on my YouTube videos, people are, like, oh, you suck, stay in your own lane. You just want everybody to join your opportunity. And it's like, no, just like Bill was saying, I just want to educate people on the compensation plan. That's all I'm trying to do because like Bill said, and with me and some of you guys have reached out to me and said, hey, I'm getting hit up in my inbox about this new thing. And this isn't just about that new thing. It's just about having the training, having the education, having the awareness of what you really have and being prideful in that. And when you speak the information, you're speaking truth. And, I had a guy, literally in my comments this morning from one of my videos that I did the other day and was like, you need to stay in your lane, stay away from this business. You don't have any right, blah, 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 blah. And it was,
Oh
you know,
boy.
they got butt hurt because I told the truth about their compensation plan. And when I showed on paper that it really wasn't that good, you know, people got upset. And I don't feel bad about that because I was speaking the truth and I was comparing black and white, apples to apples, data to data, straight compensation. And I told the truth. So I don't have to go back and be like, oh man, what did I say that really pissed this guy off? Oh, wait, I told the truth and they didn't like that because when you deal with hype that's in the industry, um, we've talked about this over the last few days, staying focused, staying in your lane, not in your lane, but staying like, you know, true and determined and focused every single day, having your routine. Remember, we talked about that, having a routine. If you guys remember that, okay. Comment routine because routine is very, very important. It builds strength in what you do each and every single day. Um, and yeah, no, to Sim's comment, I didn't tell them to pound sand. I did it in a very polite sort of way. And I just said, I can't remember exactly what their comment was. It was like, they said something along the lines, oh, they said stop speculating. That was one of their lines in the comments. They said stop speculating. So my reply simply was, um, this isn't speculation. It's basic black and white math. I hope you understand that. If you want to use this compensation plan to build a business, I said, best of luck. I hope you do well. You know? So on one hand, I was like, it, it's not, there's no guessing. It's truth. It's actual math. I did the math. I added it all up so they could see it. And just so you guys know what the math was here, okay? What the math was is I was like, if you filled out this compensation plan perfectly, and you had 131,000 people in your matrix, I said the absolute maximum amount of money that you could make is $65,000 a month.
Mhm.
Max. That's the most you could ever make. And that's with a perfect matrix, no holes, whatever. I said with this compensation plan over here, my econ, ours, I said if you had 131,000 people over there, you'd be making 1.5 million a month. I said, so which one would you rather have? 1.5 million a month or 65,000 a month? And this is perfection. This one over here pays to infinity. So even if you have holes, cancellations, whatever, you're still making the same amount of money. People don't like math. They don't like, you know, and that was the data that I shared. So again, just circling back to being truthful, speaking your truth, being, and this is a big thing, guys. Comment confidence down below. Comment confidence. Have confidence in what you do. Have confidence in what you speak about. Have confidence in what you share. When you're making your videos, have posture. You know what I mean? Have posture. There's an old phrase in the industry called MLM posture or network marketing posture. Like, have that posture. Be confident in what you have because it is truly special. It is true. Like, yeah, it's special in our opinion, but it's also special in a way that it's black and white data that outperforms most other compensation plans. So have confidence in what you do, have confidence in what we do, the education that we give you, the training that we provide, the other things that we provide for you guys, like funnels and apps and all that other stuff. But just have some confidence, speak your truth, and be proud of that because we do have some really amazing things going for us, and that's never going to go away.
On that note, you know, when people, because you're going to get hit up, I was just thinking, Dan, I was just like, I was going to go into it like every part of our compensation plan real quick. But the first thing, let's just do a little role playing. I want everyone to try this, okay? So I'm not going to go into the whole thing about overrides and what we make renewals and all that kind of stuff. I'm just going to do fast starts. Anyone that comes to you, and this is a way to educate and maybe have them come with you, other way around. If you get pitched or you see someone pitching and you want to comment, if you got the cannolis to do it, um, just say, "What's your fast start? What's your fast start bonus?" And then when they say, "What's your entry?" And and then what's that percent? And just basically say, "Oh, wow." Now it could be 20%, it could be 40%, it could be 50%, it could be higher. But I can tell you, I've been in the industry a long time. I don't know any network marketing companies or affiliate programs that have our fast start. So, Dan, and let's exaggerate a little bit here, Dan. What's it come down to again with our bonuses? With a 750, what's it come down minimum,
The
and then the
percentage,
high, yeah, the percentage, 94%.
70% all the way up to 95%.
So yeah, so say we pay 70 to 95%. Basically, 70, I can't get out of bed for what you're paying. Okay. And everyone's heard me say it. The smell test has always been 50%, that I would not, do anything for less than 50, except for one time in my life, but don't pick on me for it. But with that said, literally 70 to 95%. Just that's all you're going to use is the data. 70, I mean, that's an ad right there. That's all you need, to attract people that are actually looking. Remember one other thing, um, it's not poaching. I hate when people say poaching. Everything's timing for all of us, including myself. You don't know if someone's having a bad day. You don't know back in December, uh, I don't know what it was, December, early in the morning. I was the first one to notice that our in 2023, I was the first one to notice that the website was down. I messaged Kirsty and Daniel, said, what the hell's going on? Then we messaged the CEO, and it turned into a nightmare. And no one would have known that I was going through that because I got to put a smile on, you know. And literally the next few weeks were even more brutal. So it was perfect timing to reach out to me. So when you're marketing, remember that if you just give the data, tone down on the hype, you can score a heavy hitter. That's why I hit heavy hitters every single day because I don't know what they're dealing with. And I know that it's not always roses and it's just timing. And your business is just, it is just set. I have a couple names that I tell Daniel about. I got one guy that I'm working on for now, God, a couple years. He's out of the industry. I'm trying to bring him back. I was with a company in 2010-ish with him. He was making 50 grand a week in a telecom company. That guy is, you know, I ever get him back in, you'll see my econ everywhere. And and it's just timing. He's not ready.
Hmm.
Him and I have a great relationship. He's told me that he's not ready. He's just laying low. But I know he's not going to lay low forever. And so I just keep on giving him the education.
Yep. And
So
we mentioned this before. I think this is something that just, we're just here, we're shooting the shit. We're just kind of talking about stuff that's happened and what's going on right now. So, I want to talk about leadership for a second. Not necessarily with us, but like some of the teams, some of the, the businesses that we've partnered with over the years. Um, One of the things I love about my econ and the corporate team that we work with, um, they're very straightforward. They're very direct, and they always do what is right for the company. They always do what's right for the field. This is one of the things that I love about them. They always get feedback from the field, and they always make the right decision, and they always do that in a very timely manner. Even if, and you guys have probably seen this, those of you guys that have been around a little bit, even if they're doing website maintenance, right? And the site's going to be down for an hour or whatever, because they got to do whatever. They'll send out an email. They'll post it on, um, their Facebook page. They let everybody know, hey, website maintenance from 1 a.m. to 2 a.m. on, Saturday evening, like whatever. But they always communicate, and they always do a really good job of communicating. And that's one of the things that Bill and I have found over the years of working with these guys, that they're great communicators. Now, again, just to give you guys the education, Bill had just mentioned back in 2023, our previous business partners, their website crashed. The CEO at that time didn't make any announcement, literally kind of curled up in a ball in his own little world in a shell, didn't make an announcement for 3 weeks after the website literally completely went down and crashed. Didn't pull their head out of the sand for 3 weeks because they were worried about public backlash. Like legit. And it's just, you kind of see those two different, and this is just experience, guys, like dealing with different, people, companies, relationships, all of those things over the years. And, when we were going through that, it was like we were literally, the hair that we had, we were pulling it out like, when are you going to say something? When are you going to do something? Like, we got to let everybody know. Like, we had to do something with our team, with you guys. We were just like, felt like we were walking a tightrope. We're like, oh my gosh, we got to do something because nothing is happening over here. Like, there's no announcements, nothing happening, whatever. And for me, that was such a stressful, aggravating, frustrating time, because I felt like, and I know Bill and Kirsty and everybody else felt like this, like we felt like we were letting you guys down. And when you look at everything we've been through, everything we learned over the years, and since that time frame and where we are now, I just feel so incredibly grateful because we have a very rock solid company. We have rock solid corporate leaders. We have great communication. We have a great compensation plan. Like, and those things that we went through, man, did it teach us a lot. It really, really taught us a lot to be able to be where we're at today. And it kind of
I'm not letting skip though, dude.
you know,
What do you
to
mean?
go through those
Look at the
things and
whole thing off? Your phone did
experience
that.
those things. Guys, make sure your mics are muted,
Yeah,
please.
still just joking around with each other, but I
Just
fucking.
hit that, Dan.
Oh, at least it wasn't at you.
So just for a little fun, guys, do a little Dan. What's our fast start? Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. What's our fast start? And then remember that, okay? And what are we going to say when someone pitches us? And by the way, this is education. This is not like, oh, this is this we want to educate them. What is your fast start? It's a simple question. I got to tell you something. When I ask those questions to the master distributor on this one company that is hyping right now, I personally ask them these questions. I already know the answers. They get mad.
Hmm.
They get mad. Call us haters.
Yeah.
Lame. Dan got called lame. Okay. So they call him lame. Like literally lame. Like, what are we name calling? Why don't you support? Just back up the data. Just back it up. Back it up. No one's going to make money. We all know how it's going to end in a few months.
And
Do you know
just,
what's going to, I'm going to say one more thing, Dan, on that. Just so you know, I know how this ends because I've been around the block.
yep.
There's some of those people that think they're gurus. They think they're going to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And when they get their paychecks next week and the following week and the following week, they're going to call my buddy and they're going to say, "What the hell's going on here?" And and these are gurus. They're not learning like some of us here. They're not in the beginning stages of being a newbie. These are veterans
Hmm.
that have brought in 50, 60, 70, 100, 120 personals, and they're going to see what their paycheck is, which Stan's done a good demo of on his YouTube channel, and they're going to see it, and there's going to be like a little people are not going to work with each other again. I know how this goes because
Yep.
you get a couple strikes, and just so you know, this whole group was sold, a rainbow in the company that we passed on in 2023 when we were
Hmm.
looking for a replacement. We considered let's go say it, Dan, Nexus Rewards,
Yep.
and it was another matrix, and we passed because it was only $10 or $20 a month, and we knew there wasn't enough money in that. Even though ours is low ticket, you got to have the option of a little higher ticket. So we actually passed on that. So this is going to be another strike, and we're not talking about moving like a team that has a community. We're talking about a bunch of aggressive vultures. So there's gonna be a lot of infighting. You watch. The next videos you're gonna see. I'm gonna go on record here, guys. It's gonna say why I left. Beep beep.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
why I left. That's what's gonna be.
just some data. It's funny because some of the people that did Nexus rewards that are now in the new thing in between have probably done like six different things. And that's just
Hmm.
data.
Hmm.
That's just crazy. But
Yep. It's all
anyway,
good.
we'll wrap it up here, guys, coming up on the hour. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Hopefully, some of this education was just helpful, maybe insightful. And just remember kind of some of the big takeaways here. Like have that confidence, have that posture, have that that thing that makes you and don't be afraid to speak your truth. And like Bill was saying, like real thing. There were people either in the comments or people talking to Bill about me, and it happens in the industry. It happens when when you tell truth. People don't want to hear it, and the reason why I get called lame is
Sorry.
because I speak truth, and when people hear the truth, they realize that what I'm saying is accurate and they don't like it. And since they don't like it, they lash out. Now, just because they lash out doesn't make them right. It just means that they're lashing out because they're upset. So, does that bother me? I could give a rat's ass, to be honest with you. So, because I know for me that in my videos and my content, I always speak truth. I always speak numbers, and I'm confident in doing so. So if people want to lash out, that's what they're lashing out because And this is something for you guys to realize too. The reason why people lash out, and this is psychology. I'm going to give you guys a little psychology here, and you guys can go look this up. But the reason why someone would lash out at me, they'd lash out at Bill, they'd lash out at you or whatever is when people see you or they see me in this example, right? They see a reflection of themselves. And when they see me sharing commissions or dollars or numbers or whatever it is, they don't believe enough in themselves to do or see what I'm speaking about or doing or having. It's a confidence thing. It's a confidence thing in their own personal belief, which is why people lash out. And you guys can go look that up. That's just human psychology. So when someone watches one of my videos and they're like, "Oh, you suck, you this, whatever," they're seeing me saying, "Man, like I just don't believe in myself enough to either understand what he's talking about, do what he's doing, have what he's having, or whatever it is." It just comes down to belief and confidence in their own abilities. That's why people lash out. Okay. And that's the truth right there. And you guys can go look that up. It's just a little human psychology. So when people watch, and this is a perfect thing to think about and kind of wrap up with here. When people see your content and you see people hating or talking shit or whatever it is in your comments are like, "Oh, you're just doing this, you're just doing that," whatever they want to say, doesn't matter. It's just you got to realize it has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with people's own belief and confidence in themselves. That's why people lash out. Does that make sense, guys? Comment makes sense. Okay. So that's why for me, whenever I make videos, I have no problem saying what I say because I'm always confident in myself and I'm always confident in the data that I'm sharing with people. Okay. So I have no problem if someone wants to backlash, if someone wants to talk shit, if someone wants to come at me, bring it on all day because I know deep down why they're really doing it. And that's a cool place for you guys to get to, not just in your business, but in your life. Like if you got somebody stepping to you and they're kind of hating on you, you can just kind of, and I want you guys to take this with you. You can kind of just sit back and kind of smile a little bit on the inside because now you know why they're doing it. And it's a really good feeling to have. And I'm not saying go try to do it on purpose. I'm just saying like you guys know and understand like why people lash out. And when you understand that, it just you can brush it off a lot easier. Okay. So hope that makes sense. All right,
Yep.
cool.
So I'm gonna make let's end this real nice motivational guys. We got something good. We got a pay plan. We got great services actually people need that we use. And just get out there and educate. Educate, when I say educate, market with the education, the facts. Make yourself a nice little compensation video. Get yourself a leader. I don't want anyone to stop paying for the peanut butter sandwiches. I don't want anyone to stop getting the sales with all the stuff that the funnel team teaches, the short form videos and all that stuff to get those personal sales. That brings in, personal sales from strangers, real cold market. But please don't be afraid just to reach out to and educate even a leader. Okay. They're actually, a lot of them are very polite. They'll just say, no, thank you. They'll try to reverse recruit you, but
Mhm.
just, you got the math. Say, what is your fast start? And if they're going to say 50 cents, they're going to say 50% or below. You say, oh, I'm sorry. That just doesn't pass my smell test. I don't do anything less than 50, and I actually have 70 to 95, uh,
Mhm.
with options to even go to 100%. And just hit out there. I want to see someone with their next leader. It will literally change your business. I call them captains. I don't usually use the word leader, but I don't know if you guys will understand it. So get yourself a captain. Um, put that in your marketing plan. 10% of your marketing. Reach out to someone. It could be an email. If you're shy, you don't got to do it on social media. Send them a nice little recruiting email. You can get their email very easy. Find out what they're doing. You'll get their email. Send them an email. Wi- just with you could just with your YouTube video or anything. You don't got to even like talk to the person.
Mhm.
That's if you don't want to go that route. But I'm telling you, we have to educate. And some of us, even when we're making personal sales, you got to have it in your portfolio to go leader hunting. It it will really bring you to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair enough, Dan?
100%.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Get out there. Let's go crush it. Let's finish the week strong here. Remember, 3 days post webinar. Use that webinar replay to your advantage. And we'll see you guys live tomorrow. Later.